Dean here, Dean78904. That is the daily fantasy handle that hopefully, maybe, possibly will be taking down some GPP tournaments. At least that's midcast tonight on the old Draftkings on Fanduel as well. It's a Friday. It's a full slate, not messing around. Big boy slate, 14 gamer. So we're bringing in a 3-man booth. First of all, late swapped in. We got TJ, who's looks differently than he did earlier today. If you guys happen to catch the Friday show, the Fanduel Friday show with Andre, your hair has since changed, TJ, and let's discuss, because first of all, we got to talk about your hair really briefly. And obviously this is a start of 2+ hours of Mlb Dfs content. Myself and Kirkwood, as well, aka Kid Yahoo, and TJ. We're going to be talking for about an hour and a half, and then we'll yield to Kevin Roth, chief meteorologist, talking about some weather. Last I saw, I think there was some potential weather issues tonight in Minnesota. He'll give some clarity on that later. You got two-time millionaire winner Dave Potts as well. And of course, I believe TJ will be jumping in there. No, Keith. TJ's in this show. TJ, you're not working double duty. Keith is going to be on the Crunch Time show as well. What's up with the hair? You were telling us pre-show you're going to be cosplaying. What are you cosplaying as? Do we know this character? Somebody like me and Kirkwood are probably not as familiar with the whatever universe we're going to be delving in. Is this or is it, it's kind of cool to go and be somebody like off the board, right? Be a contrarian character. How does that work?
Yeah, it's combo of the two. So I'm being Spider-Man. It goes by the Scarlet Spider. His name is Ben Reilly. He's a clone of Peter Parker. I grew up watching the 90s animated Spider-Man TV show and watched it every day at 6 p.m. And he came in right at the end. He was one of my favorite characters. And have you heard of like the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie?
Yeah, I saw it. I watched it.
Yeah.
We talked about it. We had a conversation about it.
Yeah, great movie. Great movie. And the sequel is coming out next year, and this character is going to be in the sequel. And so I figured I'd fire it up. He's got blonde hair, and so I dyed it blonde for this weekend because I'm going to an expo. The Agents of Fandom are a guest, and then my wife, not fiance anymore.
Yeah,
my wife.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. My wife is a guest as cosplay, and so we're both being some Spideys, and we're heading there this weekend. Then I'll just cut the rest of it off when I'm home.
You got to coordinate though, right? Whatever you are and she is it kind of a combination?
Yeah, she's Spider Gwen.
Spider who now?
Spider Gwen.
Okay.
So like,
all right.
Yeah, the other one from Into the Spider-Verse.
And also, by the way, you still owe us. I don't know when the statute of limitations is up. It happened with this combination. I think we have not had a show since. Maybe we have. We forgot about it. But Kirkwood, what we I think it was our show, myself, yourself, and TJ, is when we got enough likes that TJ committed to getting some sort of tattoo, right? Is that happened organically in our show, correct? The three of us?
That was the three of us. I'll be linking up with Dre in Chicago in September. Might have to get it done then.
Do we know what we're getting, or we're still selecting it?
Getting right here, a little Spidey with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, love it. Yeah, there you go. Kirkwood, do you have any tattoos?
It's none of your business, Dean.
That's a yes. I think that's a yes. We don't discuss them.
I've got like a spider on my neck that crawls up my neck.
No.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to turn around and show it to you.
It's no. I don't.
It's like a tarantula.
TJ, you believe him? I don't believe him.
No, not for a minute.
That's a chop fact.
And I don't know anything about this cosplay world. See, I always got like cosplay and cuckolding. Like, what is there? Those I always get them confused.
Very different things.
I don't know. I don't really know what either of them is.
One of them involves relations with your partner and sharing them with somebody else, and the other one involves dressing up like a superhero.
So cosplay is like costume.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You got to put some pictures up on Twitter so it could help explain to Kirkwood over the weekend. I imagine maybe if not your personal account, the Agents of Fandom account, we're going to be able to see what it all looks put together on the weekend.
Oh, hell yeah. It's going to be pretty cool.
All right, cool. Looking forward to it. Kirkwood, I guess I was going to ask if you've ever cosplayed before, but I guess you wouldn't even know. Maybe I'm not going to ask about the cuckolding. That's none of my business. But how are things otherwise for you, Kirkwood?
I'm a big missionary guy, Dean. Is that what keep it all friendly?
That's a cash game approach, I feel.
Who knows? So anyway,
cash game player in the bedroom and
TJ
player in DFS.
Congratulations on marriage. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. It was an awesome weekend.
Things are getting crazy over here. My girl's about to pop. She's about to explode. So we're going in on Monday for it's time. So I'm going to be on maternity leave next week. Paternity leave. Paternity.
Congratulations. That's incredible.
Likewise.
Hopefully that's still at least a year away for us. But yeah, congrats.
How's she holding up? Yeah, I know she's getting antsy, right?
Oh, she's so ready to just get this damn thing out of her. I mean, it was wild. Last night, I was watching her stomach, and the baby was just like almost like a mime, like pushing out. It was pretty wild.
50 likes on YouTube, and we'll start talking about baseball.
Say it again.
50 likes on YouTube, and we'll start talking about baseball.
I like having you in the show, TJ, for multiple reasons, but one of the main reasons, of course, is because I don't have to beg or grovel for likes. I can just yield. I'm happy to yield to you. I did see in the chat. What's up, chat? Hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. All that good stuff. We do appreciate it. Hit all the things. Hit all the buttons. Keeps the proverbial lights on. I did drop Ross weather in there. And last we saw, again, yellow-orange as far as Minnesota. And I do see producer Devin lurking there. Doing one more giveaway. We did it yesterday. We're doing it again today in the Discord. 5:30 Eastern time. So in 20 minutes, the party popper bell is going to drop in the live stream chat channel. Wow, Devin is not messing around. He's picking 3 winners. And what are you winning? I didn't even say what you're winning. You're winning 1 week free of RotoGrinders Premium, and that's not just baseball. That's all the sports. Any sport you can think of, with the exception of NASCAR. NASCAR, of course, is a la carte. But go to rotogrinders.com/Discord, and then just go to the live stream chat channel. Hit the party popper bell. That's going to be coming on in about 20 minutes or so, and Devin's going to draw 3 winners from that. Again, a week free of RotoGrinders Premium. You get access to the projections and the articles, and you get Dave Potts stuff, and you get the expert rankings that myself and Kirkwood, and I think TJ partakes in, the expert survey. NFL's preseason, of course, around the corner. Well, preseason's going on right now. The NFL season's like 20, 21 days away or so. That's longer than a week, but you know what I'm saying.
Starting tomorrow, I'll be on the expert survey for 8 straight days.
Look at you, man. Dude, you're working hard.
You picking up my – oh, no, I don't do expert survey.
Are you on the road?
Who was on picking up?
On the road as well on the weekends?
Yeah, I figured shows I can't really do with shoddy internet from my laptop, but expert survey, that's no problem.
Giants lineup drop, by the way. Wade, Peterson, Flores, Belt, Yaz, Longoria, Crawford, Listella is DHing, and then the Bartman. Bart is batting 9th. Is anybody missing in that lineup? I'm trying to think if there's anything goofy or different.
We're projecting Longoria or Listella.
Yeah, so I think there's something.
It's just Estrada's not in there.
Yeah, there's somebody else too.
No Estrada, no JD Davis. So
that's what it is.
We will be having to worry about some pinch hit stuff now because they have JD Davis and Estrada on the bench as opposed to in the starting lineup.
Yes and no, because I'm always digging into my bullpen stuff, and I know Dave Potts wrote about this too. Kind of a big deal yesterday on this slate, and we'll talk about it. Like I don't know. I know TJ, you're more of a Fanduel guy than a DK guy. I imagine Kirkwood, you're playing some DK. DK tonight is so goofy. You can get the 2 best pitchers, you can get a giant stack, and you can get 2 good hitters. Like, it's really ridiculous, like truly ridiculous. So the bullpen for Colorado yesterday, which is kind of a big deal, is like Gomber, their lefty long man, who's kind of a starter / long man in the bullpen. He threw 60 baseballs, so he's probably not available. So Lucas Gilbreth is their only lefty, as far as I can tell, in that bullpen, and he'll probably work 1 inning. And he'll come in at some point, and it might maybe some pinch hit threats. And I would imagine, assuming the game's close, they'll time it right where he's coming in when a couple lefties are up to hit. And those guys are going to get the hook, like almost definitely, unless the score's like 10-2. But that's hard to predict, that kind of thing. But I think the long story short, it's a little bit less suppressed than it typically is as far as the guys getting the hook, but it's still probably going to happen. I'll throw it to you, Kirkwood, as far as this slate is. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you for throwing it to me, because I wanted to address something first before we started to get into this baseball stuff. I mean, yesterday's show was crazy, wasn't it? With Lip, so let's just talk about Lip for a second. The kid, he challenges me and keeps calling me I'm afraid of him or something. And so
he did this thing on me, for the record.
I was like, all right, I'll play you for whatever you want, like anything you want. And I made a DK lineup, which would have smashed him last night, I guarantee you, because I looked back to see what it was, and it had home runs everywhere, like the KC. KC guy. Yeah, it was like the nuts. I mean, I'm like this. That was like that guy's last alliance. You know, like I was very patient with him. Like I was like still like, you know, trying to be in his corner. And then he turns on me like that. And then he's like, let's do it for $10. And he never even sent me a head-to-head. Like for a Domino, like I built a lineup for a Domino's pizza. Like get out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was thinking like we were gonna play like a 1K head-to-head or something.
Yeah. I did. So right now, I don't have a side screen, so I was having a hard time following the chat as I normally do. I'm doing my best to keep on top of chat. And if you guys have any questions or any thoughts in chat, by all means, share them. I'll get on top of them. But I didn't get a chance to follow what was going on as thoroughly as I'd like to. But I did see some smack talk, and I didn't realize it was all for $10, which is kind of hilarious.
So here's the deal. If he comes back and shows his face, I'm not going to waste my time with it. But I'm gonna get my boy Herbert Good.
Okay.
He's going to step in and play him and I'm going to back him for whatever he wants. So, you know, so Herbert, like Herbert, so you stay on that when he shows his face again, you take him out. I'll put up whatever you want on it. And we'll do it that way. Cause I don't want to waste my time with
I know your boy Herbert because I took him on in one of the hashtag beat me.
He ran bad that night.
We both ran bad. One of us had to win by default, but we both had
to be fair, you guys both had good lineups.
But the terrible lineups.
No, they didn't perform good, but they were good lineups.
Yeah. They were good before the game started.
Before lock, they looked good.
Yeah, and then his lineup was fine. It's just that I think it was a course. I can't remember what it was. Doesn't matter. But we both scored less than 100 points if I remember correctly. So Kirkwood, DK tonight. Are you playing DK tonight?
I am a little bit, just a little taste.
So I mean, it's preposterous, right?
Stupid. It's the dumbest. It's almost like they're like testing us on, like they're doing some kind of research by doing this.
It's a game of chicken now because everybody's like, well, wait a second.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I can lose, or I can play the same lineup as McLovin, or I can not play it and let McLovin tie with everybody and win all the money tonight.
I mean, you could play McClanahan and Snell, which I think are pretty clearly the two best pitchers, raw points, right? Like salary, whatever, but salary doesn't matter because the Giants' salary. Well, let's just take a peek, and of course, we'll talk plenty of Fanduel as well. But the salary for the Giants tonight in Coors Field, they have a team total above 6. They're facing Jose Urena, one of the worst pitchers in all of baseball. Okay, so leading off, we got. Well, you know what? I'm on Fanduel right now, but DraftKings, which Fanduel's a little bit. They make it a little bit tougher, but on DraftKings, you got Wade leading off. Best position for 5 ABs, assuming he doesn't get the hook. Of course, Wade is a candidate to get a hook because if the lefty Gilbreth comes in, he's probably gone. And let's say they run left, right, left. Okay, so top of the order probably gets Gilbreth at some point. So Wade is 2.4K.
I mean, if it were me, I would still let Jock hit against lefty in core. I would like make the one exception for cores if I was on that.
They pinch hit for him though.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. Wade Peterson is 3.9. Flores is 3.8. He's not getting the hook. Belt is 2.8. Like, what are we doing? Yaz is 2.9. Chance of getting a hook.
Longo, Yaz won't get the hook.
Yaz hasn't been getting the hook.
Except he should have gotten the hook. I had a big bet on them the other night when Rodon was pitching, and he single-handedly blew that game. He got picked off a second when they put him into pinch run, and then he grounded into a double play when it was first man on, nobody out.
Okay, so Yaz has been sticking around. All right. I mean, there's a pile.
They'll do whatever and shuffle around, but based on the guys on the bench, I feel like the guys most likely to get pinch hit for would be Brandon Crawford and Tommy LaStella. Just based on
Crawford's gonna stay. Crawford's gonna stay.
Well, I think LaStella for sure will.
LaStella for sure is LaStella, like the number. Like I'm gonna pull up Cardi what he's got for.
He's JD Davis. LaStella turns into JD Davis.
LaStella, JD Davis, like if he was
or Estrada.
Lamont Wade too. Wade too, and John.
What the thing I'm wondering is like who goes in the outfield for them now.
So like, the bat has Wade at the Slater. Slater plays outfield. The bat has Wade at 60%, pinch hit risk. Jock at 44%, LaStella 35%, Joey Bart, which is interesting, 23%, and Yastrzemski 19%, and Crawford at 5%. But that's the bet, you know.
Yeah, Crawford. They don't really. He sticks around.
Because they need him for he's a good shortstop.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. And I didn't even get to that. I mean, I was kind of working my way down here, Kirkwood. But, I mean...
Longoria made the lineup.
Yeah, but Crawford's 2K. I always... Like, what are we doing? Listella's 2-1, and I think he's probably the most likely, if one of the top 2 or 3 most likely, and he's DHing too, that's the easiest one to shuffle around.
Estrada can also play outfield. That's the other one I was wondering of, because I was thinking, like, it has to only be one of Wade or Peterson. It couldn't really be both with the lineup that they put out. But Estrada can also play the outfield. So, yeah, it can be.
Yeah. Bart is 2-5. It's just a joke. And again, like you said, Kirkwood, like, I don't know if they
maybe they subscribe to the first game Coors road team in theory.
No, because these salaries will be basically the same tomorrow. You know that. Like, they don't change them. Like, they are what they are. They're less than they are in San Francisco. Like, it's so strange. So that's the starting point. That's the fork in the road, and single entry stuff, 3 entry stuff. It's going to even push up even higher. And I don't know how to handle. You're probably supposed to not play them, or at least shuffle them up, or maybe not get 5 and get 3 or something like that. What's the strategy here, Kirkwood? Because everybody knows this. Everybody knows, like, and everybody's going to click. You can click optimal. I haven't done it.
So there's like blender theory, and then there's like other players, like, there's a lot of chalky players, especially in the smaller field stuff, who are everyone's gonna have the Giants, and these are winning players. So it's not like there's many ways to skin a cat. But I mean, I made a lineup, and I spent literally like 5 minutes on my lineup, and
it was easy.
Yeah, it was too easy. I mean, it was like I have like a great pitcher pick that I think that's like a little bit under the radar, and it's like I don't even need to use him because I can just get McClanahan and Snell together, and it's just you can do anything if you play San Francisco. I mean, I did it with San Fran and St. Louis.
Oh, that's what I'm doing too. That's not sneaky, huh?
I know. It's
I love St. Louis today. I wrote them up for scores and odds. I guess we'll talk about them later, but they are the absolute best team in baseball against lefties. It's not even close. Any category you can think of, ISO, WOBA, WRC plus, OPS. They're the best team in baseball versus lefties. They don't strike out, and they walk a ton. They're like 28th in strikeouts. As versus lefties, they're like 4th in walks. So they're patient. They don't strike out. We got a small sample size as far as who they're facing tonight, this pitcher, Tommy Henry. But so far, he's not striking anybody out, and he's walking too many people, and he's not been good. And his SIERA is like 1.5 higher than his ERA. I love the Cardinals tonight. And I guess everybody else does too. Is that the first place people are going to pivot to? I know San Diego is kind of popping for some people as well, Kirkwood. But, I mean, they're not sneaky. It's a 13-game slate. You can only hide so much, or you can't hide. But, like, they're the clear next pivot for me. So it's something there are for you as well.
The bottom 4 pitchers I have are Bryce Wilson, Jose Urania, Tommy Henry, and Paulo Espino. So it's not, I mean, those are the, like, and you can just make any of those work. So, like, that's where I'm kind of focusing in on. I'm taking the teams against them. The thing about St. Louis, I mean, St. Louis crushes left-handed pitching. But so obviously, I mean, you get the high upside with like Arenado, Goldie, and Tyler O'Neill. But also Arizona's bullpen is really bad. They're like 5th in xFIP. They're 4th in SIERA. So that's a totally attackable bullpen too. So you have to like them.
TJ, do you agree as far as well, first of all, TJ, what's your thought as far as San Francisco? I assume you're focusing mostly on FanDuel. FanDuel, it's not nearly as egregious. You could still get the Giants pretty easily. What's your approach over there? General screenshot of the slate.
Yeah, the Giants are going to be still my highest owned stack. My plan is to get a lot of them, mix in a little bit of everyone else. St. Louis is my second favorite stack. I'm getting them next most. And then in my MMEs today, my way of getting kind of different or kind of get an edge on the field is I'm just going to be doubling McClanahan's ownership. I'm going to have 50% of him today in 150 lineups. So ideally, with 75 McClanahan teams, I'll have a good shot of getting the top one if I have him. And then I'm just mixing and matching 5 to 10% of some of the other pitchers I don't like as much. But from a batting standpoint, I am still getting lots of San Fran. I subscribe to the mindset of you can play chalky players as long as you get different in your lineup elsewhere. So I don't mind playing San Fran and mixing and matching them with the Dodgers and the Padres and Boston and Seattle and the Angels and all these other teams on the slate.
TJ Michael's got a question in chat pertinent to the San Francisco conversation. With the pinch hit risks that are out there, are you less willing to make a 5-man stack, 4-man stack on FanDuel, or you just want to say whatever? They're going to put up a 12 spot and we'll see what happens. And again, there's really only one guy that can only pitch basically 1 inning, right? In that bullpen that throws from the left side. But again, you can wipe out 4 or 5 players. You can wipe out 4 guys in a row. Like obviously, they all can't get pitched up for. You run out of players at some point. But you're willing to fully stack San Fran? Yes or no?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
With this lineup that has come out, it is going to change things around for me. Like I'm going to get a lot more Evan Longoria. I'm going to get a lot of Yaz. I'm going to get a lot of Brandon Belt. Just these guys that I don't think are as likely to get pinch hit for. And I enjoy that strategy because I still think Lamont Wade and Jock Peterson are probably going to, and Brandon Belt. I think those 3 are going to be the chalkiest ones on FanDuel. So I'm going to try and get quite a bit overweight on guys like Yaz and Longoria, and then not worry too much about anything else.
Kirkwood, you're having a good time there in the chat?
Yeah, so let's talk now that you're here, Lip. Literally, I said I made a lineup yesterday, said you to send me a head-to-head, and I was waiting, and I would have destroyed you, and you never sent it. And then you said something about $10. I wanted to play for $10K. I don't have time to sit here and make a lineup for a Domino's pizza, you redneck.
Why is Domino's like the one thing that's like the $10 like representative?
You know, get out of here. Like, stop. Go get banned from every other chat. I tried to be nice to you. You send me 800 DMs a day. Like, get lost, buddy.
How do you really feel, Kirkwood?
Yeah, get like you're such a. I gotta take the high road here.
On the upside, we are 1 like away from our first Spidey bomb, which has hit 3 days in a row. And on GrindersLive, we get to do it every 50 likes. So we got 1 coming at 50, 1 at 100, 1 at 150, all the good stuff.
Hey, is it possible Spidey can do a in character at the cosplay Spidey bomb, like a video version? Is that something we can do? Over the
we
weekend?
can probably make that happen. Send me a DM to remind me because I definitely won't remember. But yeah, we can make that happen.
Cheyenne says that this guy needs a champion like Tyrion Lannister, which is a great reference to Game of Thrones. So I don't know if Eric's going to find one or not. Well, we'll see how that goes. But you've let it be known, Kirkwood. You don't want to play because it's not even worth paying for $10 because the downside, he can beat you. He certainly can beat you in baseball head-to-head, especially. And like that's not worth the upside of $10. You're not playing for $10. It's not happening, right?
Correct.
All right, let's talk about the pitchers, and we kind of referenced them a couple of times already. Muncy out of the lineup today, by the way, for what it's worth. If you had him projected in for the Dodgers, I'll throw it to you, Kirkwood. You know, Blake Snell.
This kid has tried to request me on Twitter, and I just ignore him. And he says, "Oh, I have you blocked. Why would you have me blocked? I don't even acknowledge you, Lip. Like, get lost, buddy. Like, seriously."
TJ, talk to me about the starting pitchers today. I think it's a pretty clear 1-2 with McClanahan and Snell. Cheese was talking about, McClanahan's K rate's been down of late, the velocity down a tick as well. But Kansas City is a good, that's the opponent you want to bounce back against is this Royals team. I know all too well because I tend to play too many Royals offensively. Good ballpark as well. And I think it's a 6.5 total in that game. Singer and the RSI is really solid too. We'll talk about him eventually as well. If you need to open up some salary, for sure, Singer is a pretty solid option. And then there's Blake Snell, TJ, who, I'm told he's like heavily volatile. I'm told that he's going to walk the world, and he's always like, it makes you nervous but he just keeps going out there and just shoving it and just like putting up 10 spots as far as strikeouts every single game. He's been phenomenal for a while with the one hiccup there in Colorado. That's forgivable. but he hasn't been the traditional Blake Snell. I guess any given time he can implode and do his old school thing. But, Snell on the way up, McClanahan kind of on the way down. You can play them both on DK and cash. Very, very easy. Do you have a preference amongst those two?
Yes, McClanahan by quite a bit for me. I'm definitely a lot more. I'm a lot more comfortable fading Snell today than I am McClanahan. There's some downside in this lineup for Washington as well. Like there's quite a few low K rate guys in the lineup. There's some high K rate guys too, but most of the high K rate guys outside of Luke Voigt are people with very limited sample size. It's going to be a righty heavy lineup. There's some power in there. I'm a lot more comfortable getting underweight on Blake Snell today. And even on Fanduel, where we don't have to worry about that ownership as much, I am going to be significantly underweight, probably half the field on Blake Snell today.
Interesting. By the way, no official lineup. Obviously, they're playing in the West Coast. At least I missed it if it's come out. But the projected lineup, like you said, only one lefty projected there on the season. Snell, 31% K rate, really, really good. Walk rate kind of tricky. Well, not good at 10.8%. But this is not a team that walks much outside of Voigt and the boomstick. Essentially 7% walk rate. That's the projected lineup at least. He does strike out more righties this season than lefties for what it's worth. 32% righties, 28.6 on lefties. But the lefties, nobody really throws lefties at him, so it's a pretty small sample of just 63 at bats. Kirk, would you agree with that? Because I think that's a pretty big stance, and I think it's really close. And if anything, I got the lean to Snell. What do you say?
Personally, I'm a McClanahan guy today.
Okay.
I get it. He's gone through a little bit of a tough, his first ever tough spot, period in that he's ever a little adversity for him. However, he still had 20 swinging strikes in his last game against Baltimore. Yes, Cheese mentioned this too. His velocity is down. It's down, but it's only down like 1 mile per hour. And he actually worked it back up in the last game. It's just not as consistently up. So, the thing is maybe he's getting tired is something that's been thrown around. Maybe he's, has a little bit of an injury that's been thrown around. I just think, I think it is, he's already ahead of where he was for last season for innings pitched. And so he's tired, but he'll get a second wind. And I think he gets a second win tonight here in a really good matchup against KC, who does strike out a decent amount. They're middle of the road for strikeouts. But, I mean, you're talking about 28th in ISO, 25th in WRC+, a lineup that he should just be able to dominate at home in a great place to pitch. He doesn't have to worry about any dew point, And so I'm on board with – my model really likes him tonight. Of course, it's heavily weighted towards dew point. But so I like Snell too, don't get me wrong. I think they're both top plays on the slate.
Snell $700 cheaper on FanDuel than McClanahan is on DK. Again, McClanahan is 10-2 and Snell is 9-3. Like, what are we doing? Not surprisingly, looking at the ownership again. Again, there's 26 dudes throwing baseballs tonight to start the games. 48% of lineups currently projection is going to have McClanahan on DK. 41% as far as Snell. Super, super easy to make it happen. FanDuel-wise, McClanahan's 24%, Snell is 19%. Then we'll talk about Singer. Singer's the next guy. The other thing, by the way, this slate, it's kind of interesting. Like some of the best offenses, are facing some of the better pitchers. I don't really necessarily want to pick on McCullers. I don't really necessarily want to pick on Wright, but Atlanta and Houston, two good offenses there. And I think there's another spot that is as well. The Mets and Philadelphia, two really good pitchers, Bassett and Nola against two really good offenses. And like when I'm looking for offenses away from San Fran, of course you can play those teams, and we've seen it before. Like these guys will give it up, but you're taking the scenic route. It's not the clear route to the next obvious play. Kyle Schwarber back tonight. He is super cheap on FanDuel. He's like 3.2. I like him over there. 5.9 on DK. They did not forget about him. FanDuel kind of sort of did. Going away from those two pitchers, Kirkwood, if you need some salary or if you just want to build a different lineup, who's your next best pitcher?
Okay, I'll tell you what everyone's next best pitcher is, and then I'll give you a guy that I think is actually better. The next best pitcher is going to be Brady Singer, right? Like he's cheap. He's coming off of a good stretch here of strikeout stuff. He's had a 3 out of 4 really big games. Had a rough game against Chicago White Sox. The matchup is good. Tampa, the 5th in K percentage. Again, you get the same pitching inside and a nice pitcher's park, so a nice park arc grade. But but Tampa's not a anemic offense by any bit, and they're 13th in WRC plus. I get it, but I don't believe in him as much as everyone else does. And the guy that I don't think people realize how bad Miami Marlins are against left-handed pitchers.
You could have stopped the sentence Marlins are, but yeah, they're worse versus lefties.
Well, they're like worse than Angels on strikeouts. And they're like the mixture of Angels with strikeouts and Detroit with like power and WRC plus. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, I mean, Miami is first in K percentage against left-handers. They're 29th in ISO and 30th in WRC plus against left-handed pitching. And we get Tyler Anderson, who, yes, it's his K percentage. He's not a huge strikeout guy, but he's capable and has definitely had some strikeout games. I know he's hovering just about 20% as opposed to the 25% that you get with Singer, but I'm willing to give him a much better matchup bump here in this one, and pitching at home in Dodger Stadium. 7,900, you get a little discount and you get an ownership discount. That's the guy who I like.
Singer last 30 days, by the way, has been phenomenal. 30.4% as far as his strikeouts, 5.6% as far as walks. He's an ISO of 0 versus lefties. Wow. A 0 ISO and 57 plate appearances. It is weird that Singer is kind of the guy rising, and I'll be honest, I've sort of missed this rise. I have not been on it, but he's been spectacular. And now I feel like I'm kind of chasing it, and like everybody else is chasing it as well. TJ, you got a thought here as far as Singer, and you want to bring Anderson in the conversation as well? Go for it.
Yeah, I like Anderson quite a bit. Like, there are some real beautiful things you can do on DraftKings with your bats.
Ooh.
Playing some Giants, tying in some Dodgers and some St. Louis bats and some expensive bats with them. If you play combos of Singer, Gausman, and Tyler Anderson, I like all of those guys on DraftKings quite a bit. Tyler Anderson and Gausman are a bit tougher to get to on Fanduel where they're priced up, but you're also going to see super low ownership on them. And so those are guys I like quite a bit in tournaments. And I'm all for the Tyler Anderson call. I think that's pretty good.
His leash is not typically that long, but he could throw about 90 pitches or so. He could be super efficient at times. And again, that Marlins lineup is going to be terrible. What is his K rate on this season? I don't think it's very good. Let's see. Well, I got Luzardo up on the plate IQ. I got to jump to the Dodgers. 16.4% last 30 days. This season, his K rate is a little bit better than that, just short of 20%. Not really going to walk anybody as well. But, dude, Kirkwood, I know there's a lot of small samples on this Miami team. Have you seen the plate IQ as far as their K percent, this projected lineup? I've never seen it this high before.
No, but I'm fine using their season average. And so, but yeah, I mean, this small sample is, I've never seen north of 30 either, but here we are.
But like we have Burdick, it's 53% and 13 at bats, but he's not going to be good. Just for LeBlanc, I think LeBlanc's got some power. If I'm not mistaken, in the minors. I could be wrong and mixing up with somebody else. But 30% it's all small samples.
This lineup is dog water.
This is not the official lineup, but like it's not going to be good. They're not going to like surprise you and just there's Gary Sheffield. No, it's going to be a bad lineup.
I loved Gary Sheffield, by the way. Yeah, he 89 upper deck, right? He was with the Griffey, right? Weren't they in the?
He had the Milwaukee. He was a shortstop for Milwaukee when he came up in the system like many years ago. But I grew up in South Florida, so
I love that swing.
He had the most imposing swing in the box, incredible. And we would, if you go to the game, like you would time, like if you have to go to the bathroom, you go grab a drink. You when is Gary coming up? Because like the Marlins were terrible out the gate, right? 93, they were pretty rough. It wasn't a very good team, but Jeff Conine, shout out Jeff. I can name some random Junior Felix. There's some 1993 Marlins for you. Dave Magadan, Chucky Carr. It was spectacular to watch Gary Sheffield. TJ, you're aware of Gary Sheffield and his batting prowess and his batting stance, I imagine, yes?
Yep.
All right, there you go. Dynamite drop-in.
Yeah, I remember him. Was I busy getting married or something when the Jays got Jackie Bradley Jr.? When did that happen?
That happened like 10 days ago or something like it, yeah.
And then like literally the next day, like Jaron Duran for the Red Sox, who they're playing now in center field, made like 3 of the most egregious errors like back-to-back days.
That all year.
Yeah, I know.
By the way, I noticed you're a bit of a homer there, TJ. You snuck in Kevin Gausman facing the Yankees tonight. Talk to me about Gausman. Like in theory, obviously the matchup's not necessarily ideal, but certainly beatable. One of those scenic route plays again, and I think he's going to get a little bit of a backseat as far as ownership, but rosterable. And it sounds like you want to get some shares. So talk to me about Kevin.
Nobody's playing him, and he has a 3.4 xPIP and a 28% K percentage.
Okay, fair enough.
That's it.
What are we at?
Like,
5%?
He's 8K. Like he's 8 point whatever K, 8.2K on DraftKings. We have him at 6% ownership right now, and he has as high of a ceiling as anyone on the slate. He's got 31% K rate to righties this year. There's 6 righties in the lineup. The Yankees got a 21% strikeout rate, like not super high, but not bad. It's not somebody you want to be locking in to every single lineup, but he's definitely a strong tournament play, especially on DraftKings today.
I've got some notes on him too.
Go for it.
So I mean, his last start looks bad against Cleveland. Cleveland can be a pesky, annoying team to play against, but he got BABIP'd, like he's been getting BABIP'd. His velocity was up to 96, which is actually higher than normal. So he had a bunch of location problems, and so like I expect he will build on that. Like now, like I think his arm is fine. I think he's had a kind of a bumpy road here, but I'm with TJ. I think like he's really close to just putting it all back together and being the same guy that we knew and counted on, and he's hitting the Yankees at the right time.
He was one of the best pitchers in baseball like the first month or so of the season. And then there was that spurt where like apparently he was tipping pitches where he was just getting shellacked. And you mentioned the BABIP. You know what his BABIP is in the season? 372. Wow, that is a monster number. That's pretty unlucky.
It's
he's
ridiculous.
Sixth, yeah. He's 6th in the AL in Cy Young odds, and he's 8.2K. And you looked at me like I was crazy for saying to play him.
No. I didn't mean to give you that look.
Don't worry. I gave Dean the business for you, TJ.
Appreciate it.
I wasn't besmirching. I was just having fun. Like you're being a homer. That's all I was saying. And any sort of issues you might have with them, like, well, it's the Yankees, and the Yankees you can beat. It's baked into the price. The price is pretty cheap. Like it's pretty reasonable for him. How do you know he's in the Cy Young? That's not happening, right? I don't even know who's Cy Young candidate. I think Verlander is going to win it, right? Like just because
Verlander likely will win it, but I mean, I think anybody.
Wow.
Like, if Cease goes on a run, Cease probably would be who I'd bet on right now if I were going to bet on somebody. But I mean, Manoah, Gausman, Cease, anybody that goes on a run here at the end could get it.
It's still up for grabs. I think Sandy
Ohtani, of course,
locked up the NL, right? Like Alcantara's got that on lock. I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah, it's hard to do for such a terrible team, but he's been incredible this year. You were saying something, Kirkwood?
No, I just like none of those sound like Cy Young pitchers.
Well, you got to pick somebody. Like, look at the list.
I think it would be Cease this year. Like that's who'd be my pick.
Yeah.
Is McClanahan have odds?
He's probably in the mix, but I don't
I think he was 8th.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else could it be? Like who else would it possibly be? And it's up for grabs, right? Any number of those guys possibly.
Verlander is minus 145. Oh, yeah. McClanahan's 3rd. My apologies, I missed him. Cease is plus 200. McClanahan's plus 700. And then it gets way less. Ohtani's 3,500. Manoah's 4,500 and Gausman's 7.
Man, remember I was hard on Manoah the other show we did.
Yeah, you called it. That was a nice call for you.
Well, no, it was until it wasn't. He was like 5 innings were like beautiful. He was like going to break the slate, and then he just melted down.
I missed that part. I knew he was cruising.
Yeah, he was cruising, but
they always let him go a little too long.
No, it's mental with him. Like you can see it happening, and he just can't get out of his own way,
No Springer tonight, by the way, for Toronto. Is it that elbow again, I assume? Is that what's going on? He's not playing baseball. Gurriel's sitting off. Guerrero, Kirk 3rd. Teoscar, Bichette, Chapman, Merrifield, Biggio, and Jansen. So they're running out both catchers. I imagine Kirk is probably DHing, or maybe Jansen is. I don't know. Who's their better defensive catcher? Do you know this off top of your head?
Jansen by a lot. Kirk also just can't catch every day. He only can like every other day. So
Are you saying that because he's too short? Are you short shaming?
Is that what you're doing?
No, he's too maybe
Husky?
large.
Are you saying
like,
he's too husky?
yeah,
you're fat shaming too? Fat and
no,
short?
like he is
Jeez.
not yet at this stage in his career athletic enough to play every game in the major leagues as a position player.
It's better than JP Arancibia, though, right?
And to be honest, the reason he's up so much is because of how well he's hitting. Like they did not expect him to be there. Moreno was supposed to be going up, kind of like it's supposed to be Moreno's time right now. But
Did you see
Kirk's
the
been
ball
hitting the
Moreno
ball
hit
so
the
well,
minors
so that's
the
why
other
it's up there. No,
he hit a ball that's stuck in the wall. It went through the padding. You didn't see this?
No.
Did you see this, Kirkwood, or no?
I'm sorry, what?
Moreno, the big prospect catcher for Toronto, hit a baseball off the wall in left field, but it didn't go off the wall. It went through the wall, like stuck in the padding of the wall, and not like in the crevices where like there's like a cutoff, but like it broke the padding.
What was the exit velocity?
It was like 111.
Yeah,
it was pretty.
Stanton laughs at that.
Yeah, Stanton's exit velocity is ridiculous when he actually. Yeah, one of the Yankees.
Oh yeah, how about Marcell Ozuna?
Oh, dude, don't even.
Good guy, huh? Good guy.
He seems, for multiple reasons, he seems to be a questionable person. But yeah, I don't know what's good. They still haven't signed for like 3 or 4 years more or something like that. I know they suspended him last year, obviously.
So that was a great for the Marlins to get rid of him.
You know who they got for him, right?
Yeah, Gallen.
No. Gallen
he wasn't part of the Gallen. Gallen wasn't.
No, the Marlins got Sandy Alcantara for Marcell Ozuna.
Okay.
Alcantara could be on the Cardinals right now, and they could win a World Series with him. But they don't have him. I'm sure Rusty Cards I'm sure he's aware of this. Do you want to mention?
Speaking of the Cardinals, we got enough likes for the Spidey bomb. 25 away from the second one. First Spidey bomb of the day, Tyler O'Neill.
Yeah. I mean, I love all the Cardinals. Goldie revenge game, 17th revenge game. He's going to smash it tonight as well. We do have the giveaway we talked about earlier, by the way. Do want to mention this in our Discord channel. We're giving away 3 different 1-week passes to RotoGrinders Premium. Devin is running the promo right now in the Discord. How do you get there? RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Go to the live stream chat channel. There's like a continuous, just a bell. Just click the bell. You'll be eligible. 3 people will be drawn at random within the next, 20 minutes or 15 minutes. Just do it now. It's easy enough. All right. We got anything else as far as pitchers? Like, we didn't talk about a lot of pitchers, Kirkwood, but I don't know how necessary it is. Like, there's other you could play Bassett, you could play McCullers, I guess. McKenzie has K upside. You catch him on the right night. There's a lot of guys that are like competent at throwing baseballs, but again, I'm not running 150 lineups, and maybe this is more of a TJ question, but do you have much beyond that you think that's like necessary to point out as far as pitchers?
Sandoval.
Okay.
It's a pitcher. It's a Major League Baseball pitcher against the Detroit Tigers.
Does he throw the ball with his left hand or his right hand?
That's the problem. He throws it with his left hand. But they're still bad against lefties as well. Not quite as bad. They're 5th in K percentage, 25th in ISO, 28th in WRC plus. He's got, we're looking at almost a 24% K percentage. The problem is his walk rate, and he can walk some people. But we were lining up to play Zach Plesac with his 16% K percent. What was he at the time?
Well, he throws with his right hand, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, this is still a good spot.
TJ, if you could take a second from take your stuff away from checking yourself out in the lineup, and in the watching the show. By the way, you know what just hit me? I think I know who you look like, TJ. You know what it is? A young Homelander.
That is the rudest thing you've ever said to me.
What do you mean? He's a good-looking dude, Homelander. He's a mean guy, but he's a good
Nazi.
I'm not saying personality-wise. Yeah, not a personality trait, but physically. That is Homelander hair.
I'll take it.
Do you know Homelander?
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, you know what the worst part about it is? And I'm starting to come around to it a little bit, but the reason why I'm going to get rid of it as soon as this expo is done is because this is what just like all the hockey players in Canada do when it's playoff time is they dye the top of their hair blonde.
I thought you got a little weird.
I just can't. Yeah, most of them can't. And I just can't stand most of those people. And so
you're a fat shamer, you're a short shamer, and you're a shamer of people that have blonde hair.
A grifter.
I will never. Grifter is it's up in the air at this point. I will never fat or short shame. I will definitely hockey player shame. I have no shame in hockey player shaming.
The chat's with you. I did not think Homelander was an insult.
Oh, it's a big insult.
Oh, I was thinking that was a compliment too.
It is a compliment. I meant it as a compliment.
I mean, a big
guy breastfeeds, man.
What's that?
The guy breastfeeds, man.
Well, so now you have something about breast. You have something against breastfeeders, and you say this when my girl's about to go into labor on Monday.
You hate babies. You're a baby hater.
Exactly. This is crazy. I mean, just keep digging a bigger hole.
The list is getting longer and longer as the show is continuing, I suppose. TJ, like again, you kind of implied. Maybe I heard you incorrectly. Are you running 150 on FanDuel? Is that you doing your thing tonight?
Yeah, I am going to run 150 on FanDuel today. I'm mixing and matching, getting guys out of the line who are not in the lineup here. There we go. Sorry, words are hard when you're looking at stats. I have my first build of 150 here up right now. 37% McClanahan is what I'm getting to. How many total pitchers do I have in my pool here? We gonna play the game, Dean?
How many you got? We'll play the game. Myself and Kirk will play the feud. What do you got? What's the list?
14 game slate. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys in the pool.
Okay, so before we start playing the game,
on FanDuel, one pitcher.
Okay, so you got McClanahan and you got Snell and you got Singer. Well, and you got Gaussman. We'll knock out those four. Those four are definitely in, right? McClanahan, Snell, Singer, Gaussman. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so there's 5 left. Kirk Waddell, you go
Anderson.
Yep.
Okay, so there's 4 left. I will say
Sandoval.
3 left.
Should be pretty easy, honest.
Nola.
Well,
did you say Nola?
Yep.
I was going to say no. Okay, I say Tristan McKenzie.
Our new sponsor's back. Nude HD.
Oh, nice. Shout out Nude HD.
And then Chris Bassett is the last one in there.
But what is Bassett, like 3%? You don't have a lot of Bassett.
I got 5% Bassett.
5%. Okay, fair enough. And I
got 5% Bassett, 4% McKenzie, 4% Sandoval, 5% Gaussman, 9% Snell, 10% Nola, 10% Anderson, 15 Singer, 37 McClanahan.
So the chat is giving me producer Steve, can you throw a picture up of Homelander on the screen? Show the people, they can determine for themselves. I want to do like a side-by-side if possible. And also they'll realize, wait, this is not a bad looking dude. This is not an insult. I'm not calling you like.
Just say I look like Anthony Starr as opposed to Homelander. Then it would be better.
Nobody knows who Anthony Starr is. He's a fabulous actor, but nobody knows that. They know him as Homelander. So we'll figure this out. We'll get it up on there you go. It's up on the screen. That's a good looking dude, TJ. What's the insult here?
Dean's getting a little too excited.
I will be selected for the next Beat Dean's meet. It's confirmed.
Oh, wow.
Kirkwood, seamless segue.
Give
me the synopsis. Give me the rundown as far as your pitchers.
20 likes for another Spidey bomb, please. We're making fun of me all show. I need it.
All right. McClanahan, Snell, top 2. Singer's going to be chalky. He's fine to me. I'd rather play Tyler Anderson with a better matchup, easier matchup, and a price difference and ownership difference. So I would take that. Gaussman, I think, is going to be a low owned, could be a high upside play, and then Nola's in play. But it's just kind of like meh. It's the Mets. The Mets are pretty good across the board, and not a great strikeout, but he can be good. And that's pretty much. Oh, and Patrick Sandoval, and that's pretty much all I would have interest in tonight.
TJ, a young David Hasselhoff, according to J3 in the chat. And then you said you're typing. He follows you on Twitter, David Hasselhoff?
He does. I have no idea why. I don't even follow him.
You know he followed everybody. Remember Jose Batista?
Yeah.
I don't know if he still follows me, but he followed like thousands of people. Like I'm trying. Does Hasselhoff do the same thing where he follows like thousands of people, or somehow you just got randomly selected?
I honestly don't know. Like, I've had Twitter since like 2008, from when I like was a kid writing Bleacher Report articles, and so it was literally from back then.
You were a senior writer for Bleacher, is that right?
Yeah, at 14.
Imagine not being a senior writer of Bleacher and like DJ is at 14 back in the day. 37,000 people, by the way, he follows. So bad news, you're not that special. Just so you know. He doesn't follow me. I don't know if he follows Kirkwood or not, but all right. We'll talk about stacks in a second. Whatever's on chat's mind as well, too. We'll go around the horn. Did mention, we kind of vaguely mentioned it before as far as the NFL preseason. That's back. If you want to get your NFL content, you can get it for $299.99. That's the annual NFL sub. That'll take you from the preseason all the way through the entire season. Of course, if you get the premium, you get all the bells, all the whistles, all the sports. That's another way to get there. But if you want NFL a la carte, you can get it that way. The Fanduel single entry series continues. I did sign up for earlier. That does close out really quickly, so I'm not sure if it's still in the lobby. If it is, it's going to go fast. $50,000 in bonus cash up for grabs if you win yourself a chance to Chicago. You get first in that. You get $10K. You can say hello to TJ as well because he's got there for the FanDuel Finals different contest. How do you get there? You finish first. You have the top 4 scores, cumulative scores from Monday. Hopefully you've been playing along. If you haven't, this kind of isn't for you. But, hopefully you've been playing along. You're going to close strong Saturday and Sunday. You finish first. Your top 4 scores throughout your bottom 3, assuming you're playing every single game. And you finish first as far as that contest, a single entry $50 smacker, also the $1. So 2 people will be winning trips to Chicago September 9th. $10,000 is the grand prize for that, $50,000 total prize pool. And one more thing we do want to mention, Stat Hero. You don't want to mess with DFS. You don't want to mess with like fading the Giants, not fading the Giants. You don't want to play against Eric Johnson. You don't want to play against Kirkwood. Eric's too good. Kirkwood's ducking out. No, that's not happening. That's the other way around, I suppose. But Stat Hero, you just play against the house, right? You participate in a head-to-head style contest against the house. They're going to provide a lineup, and you go ahead and beat that lineup, pick 'em style. Use the promo code Grinders, 50% deposit bonus, up to $250. You play now, and Kirkwood, you have some winners. At least I hope you picked out some winners for the people.
Just did the same old thing, which won the other night. Is just looked for an edge with the bat projections versus their projections. So tonight you can do a head-to-head against them. Tyler O'Neill and Ty France is who they have, and I have to beat them. And I chose Mookie Betts and Taylor Ward tonight. And there's a huge edge, a big edge in projection from the bat there. So everyone says trust the projections. So that's how we do it.
There you go. We're going to go around the horn and give our fair plays position by position. Kirkwood, you're going to talk to us about catchers tonight. And I'll yield to TJ. TJ playing on FanDuel. Of course, you can sprinkle catchers in, but you don't have the roster one. DK, you're obligated to do so. Otherwise, they refuse to accept your lineup. Catcher, Kirkwood, what do you have for me?
All right. So on DK, Joey Bart is just crazy cheap. Has pop for sure. I like him.
Not to cut you off, but if you're prioritizing Giants, right, he's probably not one of your first 5, right? So, like, if you're stacking the Giants, you can only play 5.
I used him.
Crazy cheap.
I have him.
Okay, fair enough.
But I wanted to purposely fade like Belt.
Yeah. You're playing Goldie. Yeah, you're doing my move.
Yeah. Jesus.
We're gonna have the same lineup.
No, because I'm gonna have Tyler Anderson in it. But
I'm gonna have Tyler. I may.
But no, the lineup with so the lineup with McClanahan and Snell, but both the time it just fits beautifully together, like a glove. But yeah, that'll probably be your lineup. Oh no, but you don't have Bart, so we'll see.
What I have, I've only built it in my head. But go ahead.
Other than that, I mean, Sean Murphy with the platoon, is he going to hit another couple homers again? Adley Rushman, obviously, is a guy that we can play. Will Smith, FF Kirk. There's plenty of plays here.
Does TJ know what FF stands for? He probably created that nickname. Maybe not.
Dean, leave me alone.
I tried to compliment you earlier.
No more making fun of TJ until we're at 100 likes.
What are we at right now? We're not at 100 just yet?
85.
All right. Oh, you gonna?
I was just thinking of something. Chad had a good. Does like when we were talking about cosplay? Does that have to do with anything with furries?
Also a different thing, but closer than cuckolding.
There is a Venn diagram. We'll at least concede that.
Will you do a list or something like that? Can you do that tonight?
If you show up to a Comic-Con, you'll see 1 or 2 furries there, and people will look at them weird.
That's crazy. My buddy Jared Barton, he goes to a lot of those things, those Comic-Con things.
I think you're just throwing Jared under the bus just for fun. You got any catchers, TJ?
There are 4 catchers today on FanDuel. Like, I'll play anyone in a stack, but there are 4 people today that I'm including in my one-off pool, and it is Eric Haas, 2,400 on FanDuel, Salvador Perez up against McClanahan, Sean Murphy against the lefty. Love it. He had 2 home runs for me the other night, won me some money. And then the last one would be Dalton Varsho.
All right. Take over first base here, TJ. And again, DK Belt is egregiously priced. He's going to be heavily owned. I think Goldie's one of the best pivots away. CJ Cron, another great pivot as well. How are you handling first?
Yeah, lots of great plays today. High upside options that are in tougher matchups. And so because of that, they're not going to pick up any ownership. Lefty, no one's going to be playing Freddie Freeman, even though the Dodgers are in a great spot. Vladdy Guerrero, Matt Olson, Pete Alonso, all of these guys, Anthony Rizzo, all of these guys are people that could hit double dongs tonight, and nobody's going to be playing them. Goldschmidt is the top guy up top. Belt is the top cheaper guy. I'm planning on getting a lot of them. But on FanDuel, some of the other cheap guys I like taking a shot on, Ryan Mountcastle. And that's pretty much it.
What about yourself, Kirkwood? First base?
Well, let's so Brandon Belt is going to be massively owned tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He's a massive projection play for dirt cheap, and the dude hasn't scored over 10 fantasy points since 7-17.
What happened in 7-17?
So he had a game, he hit a homer, and he scored 21 fantasy points.
It's a good point because he's been dealing with an injury all season long, and maybe it's nagging him. But go ahead, continue.
And now he's going to be massive chalk. So I probably just mushed. He's probably going to double dong now, but like that, there's just no way I'm playing him. I'll play him on Yahoo where I have like let me make sure before I'll play him on Yahoo. But it's different. It's like my contests are like 10 people max in there, right?
Yeah.
Like, but on DraftKings, like, I mean, just play some Giants, but just do not play Belt. So other than that, like Shohei Ohtani is how Chop corrected. So from what I've heard, Chop has it right actually.
No.
And it is Ohtani, and everyone else is wrong. And it's the true Japanese pronunciation of the Americanized version. So he's correct actually. But
okay.
other than that, there's Goldschmidt, Cron, Mountcastle. I like. I'm not big on my guy Cutter Crawford for the Red Sox here.
Reverse splitsy too.
Yeah. I just can't play anyone against Martin Perez. And you can always play, like you can get off the board. I mean, you can do so much, you can play like Vlad in that spot. You just try to pick somebody who has double dong upside in that spot at first base tonight, other than Brandon Belt.
Did you mention Vlad, TJ?
Yes, sir.
Where is he like in your ranks as far as first baseman? Where's Toronto as a stack? We didn't really talk stacks before we went around the horn, but what are your stacks? What are your favorite stacks tonight?
So Giants number 1, obviously, and then I kind of got a tier 2 of St. Louis, Colorado, the Padres, and who's the last team in there? Dodgers? Did I say the Dodgers? Don't think I said the Dodgers.
Yeah.
That's my tier 2. And then I'm just sprinkling a lot of these other teams. Boston, Baltimore, Toronto, the Yankees, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, the Angels. I'm just doing a lot of sprinkling. That's one of the reasons I wanted to play 150 today, is because there are certain spots like McClanahan that I'm comfortable getting very over the field on, and Snell that I'm comfortable getting very under the field on. And then I'm just going to be mixing and matching all sorts of bats today.
Kirko, what was your stacks? I didn't ask you either. I know we touched on it throughout the show, but if you can just kind of give me like a list of some of your favorites.
Yeah. So, and we did these in the rankings today. So San Francisco is the obvious one. San Diego Padres, St. Louis Cardinals. And I like San Diego tonight because it's still a good spot and they let everyone down. And like, so it's not going to be sneaky by any means. They're going to be popular to some extent, but you do lose a lot of people who got burnt last night. And Paulo Espino is certainly attackable, and the Washington bullpen is certainly attackable. So I like that a lot. The Colorado, the other side of the Coors game, and then Boston is my fifth. And then I'll tell you how the bat has it. So one thing I like to do is with the bat team totals and see what's different. They have San Francisco as the highest, obviously. Then they have the Dodgers second. The bat has the Dodgers as the second highest team total, and followed by Colorado, then the Padres, then Boston, then the Angels, which is surprising to me to see.
Well, Trout's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, but like this, is he going to even play a full game?
Well, I mean, they're going nowhere, so I would imagine he's healthy enough to go. Like otherwise, they would just shut him down.
And yeah, it's a good spot against Detroit, but it's a brutal ballpark, and it's a brutal team. So it was just surprising me to see them right there. But then they have St. Louis.
Well, Detroit's not as brutal as you're suggesting. It's not the worst ballpark to hit baseball.
I know, but it's got some tough areas, tough part, like that center field.
Dead center's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked about the other day. San Fran ballpark, it's like 390 dead center. That's the one place you want to hit it in San Francisco.
Yeah, Brandon Crawford bailed me out the other night with a dead center walk-off homer.
Yeah, I think Fenway is 390 and one's 391. I think.
But Fenway has the height.
Yes.
So you got to clear it. You really got to clear it. So it's bigger. It plays much bigger.
TJ, Keystone position, second base. Start us off. What do you got for me?
Second base today. So on FanDuel, we have a bit of an interesting discussion because we still have the ever wildly cheap Marcus Semien, but we also have weather issue in that game now. And so that's not quite as easy of a plug and play in cash games or single entry if you're not worried about the ownership, stuff like that. This is a great spot for still lots of high upside one-offs, though. We have Brandon Lau, we have Javi Baez, Jonathan India, Jose Iglesias is leading off today against the lefty. I like him quite a bit. Brendan Rodgers as well. This is a team, like, if somebody's chalky at second base today, I'm very comfortable getting off that chalk because there are so many players that I just kind of view as solid but not great. And so second base, I think, is the position today outside of outfield where you obviously have to play three, that I actually have the deepest player pool.
Just went ahead and dropped Ross weather report. You're talking about the weather there in Minnesota. That's one that seems to be most alarming. As far as the colors, it's not scary. Like yellow-orange is not traditionally too scary. But yeah, of note, and Roth will be on about 20 minutes, give some clarity. If anything changes, I'll let y'all know what's going on there. Keep an eye on it. Yellow-green in Atlanta, yellow-green in Colorado. Otherwise, by the way, it was a crazy home run day in Chicago, at least projected to be. I saw that Kevin Roth's Weather Edge tool had like a 50% bump in homers, and last I checked, it was like 7-6 and like at least 5 or 6 homers in that game. So did not disappoint. If you're playing Showdown, it's probably a fun Showdown slate, I imagine, or just betting some homers with your sports book. What do you have there at second base there, Kirkwood?
Second base. I didn't even think that I hadn't even checked weather, so that's good to know. So
you have this is why your model has not been.
I have a model for like do good hitting weather. It only doesn't tell me like if I'm not a weatherman. I can't forecast weather. Forecasting weather, Roth is the best in the industry, hands down, number one in the industry.
You yield on that. You'll at least give him that.
No, 100% he is. So of course I'll yield on that. Mine is just for actual hitting weather. Anyway, so second base, Wilmer, Arroyo, but you don't need $2,000, so it's pointless. Yeah. But I guess if you're playing like some normal stacks tonight, you still might need someone like him. I do like the Red Sox in the spot. Brendan Rodgers looks pretty good. India looks pretty good. That Pitt game could pop off. I think Pitt, Cincinnati, both ways. Like I think a game stack of that could work too. But again, they could. They're also two terrible offenses, so it's you never know.
And a bad ballpark.
Yeah. Let's see here. maybe Cronenworth, go back to the well with him.
Bell not in the lineup, by the way, for San Diego. You talk about vengeance and the revenge games. Josh Bell, since getting traded from Washington earlier this season, since then, 0 for 17 against Washington. And I think I had him for every single one of those at-bats. I'm not bitter, though. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice. I'm not bitter. Let's jump to third. Kirkwood, you handle that. Third base. Wilmer Flores, of course, is going to pop. And then I think we both like ourselves some Nolan Arenado as a pivot away from. You tell me. What do you like at third?
I love Nolan. Nolan is probably my top third base play tonight, followed by Devers, who has let me down this week. It's been a tough week of rostering him. It's been a tough month of rostering him, but I still keep going there. I'm going to go back there. Jose Ramirez. I mean, this is like the opportunity cost spot of the night. Like you want a good. It always is.
It's solid, yeah.
But yeah, especially tonight, Machado is certainly he was the only one who had the good game. Let's see him. Austin Riley. McCullers is good pitcher. Definitely long track record of being a good pitcher, but he's been hurt and. He had a good start in his start back with only 81 pitches, but that was against Oakland.
Yeah.
He looked pretty good, but like this there could be a lot of variance in his performance tonight. So if nobody, and I don't think anybody's going to attack him, but I think it's a spot to go after him. So I think I do like the Braves here tonight.
Let me ask you this, not to cut you off, but like there's four offenses that are traditionally pretty usable that aren't going to be used much tonight. The Mets versus Nola, the Phillies versus Bassett, right? We got, you're talking about, oh, geez, I just lost the team we were talking about. Yeah, so the Houston-Atlanta game as well, like Houston versus Wright and Atlanta versus McCullers. If you're going to pick on one of those four pitchers, one of those four appealing offenses traditionally, is it Atlanta?
I think it's both. But yeah, Atlanta is, I prefer them more.
In the chat, Travis says, McCullers better get a spacesuit because he's getting blasted to the moon. So Travis is with you as far as picking on McCullers as well. Do you have a thought on that, TJ? Like you're making 150 lineups. Are you getting like super thin as far as you cutting off a lot of teams and just concentrating on 4, 5, 6 stacks, that kind of thing? Or are you spreading out? How are you handling these good offenses like, against pretty good pitchers?
I'm spreading out quite a bit today, and I'm just looking to make sure I get a lot of pieces of teams that I think have the potential to break the slate today. And so anytime I'm running 150 lineups, I don't care who they're facing. I would never X out Atlanta. Atlanta is too high upside of an offense to X out. Even if I was playing 150 yesterday with them against DeGrom, I would have had a few Atlanta stacks in there. So they're definitely a team I'm going to be getting to a little bit as well. They're kind of one of my sprinkle in teams that I mentioned. The only teams that I'm not going to be getting to at all today are Miami and KC.
Give me your third baseman.
The first ever Spidey bomb from Coors Field, and it's Evan Longoria, who has smashed the ball this year when he's been healthy. And I think batting sixth, he may be one of the guys to go overlooked today. A lot of people are going to want to play Wilmer Flores. I want to play Evan Longoria. He's sub 20% owned in Coors, and so it's not super low owned. If we hit 150 before the crunch time guys get here, I got a super, super sneaky Spidey bomb for us, and he's nice and cheap too. But Evan Longoria is number 2, following Tyler O'Neill.
Can we do a Homelander bomb?
Yeah. What is
that?
What's his?
That's too frightening of a thing to think about. So I don't know if we want a Homelander bomb.
He just like has like infinite power, right? I'm trying to think what like his.
I like the speedy guy. Who's the
what's that guy's name?
A-Train. That's right.
Yeah. Very interesting opening scene. If you ever watched The Boys, like the first 5 minutes, like okay, I'm into this. This show is different. It's gonna be it's gonna go there. And the opening scene of season 3, I'm sure you saw that, TJ, right?
Oh yeah.
That was it's a good show. I thoroughly enjoy it. I just checked out the live stream chat channel, by the way. If you guys missed out, maybe you weren't aware, maybe you didn't hear me, maybe you want to go to Discord, but we did select 3 winners to give away 1 week free of RG Premium. Just want to shout them out. Hutch Boy. I took Hutch Boy on in a head-to-head not too long ago in the old Beat Dean's Bean. Wait, now I get it confused. Beat Bean Dean. Yeah, contest. Yeah, well, there's your consolation prize. You get 1 week free of RG Premium, double M squared. And people are going to say collusion or it's rigged or whatever. But the third winner is We Want Dean. Like I'm just reading it. That's all I'm saying. That's who won. I had nothing to do with this. I know it's a bot that selects the winners. But there you go. Shout out to We Want Dean as well. Shortstop. TJ, start it off for us.
Shortstop today, Brandon Crawford in Coors is obviously a strong option. Him and Carlos Correa, I think, are going to be kind of the top two projected for their price today on FanDuel. Correa is somebody that I liked quite a bit earlier, but now is somebody I'm only going to be playing in stacks due to that weather, as is Corey Seager. That was another one of my favorite plays at the position that I'm not going to be getting to quite as much because of weather, now that I'm only getting him in stacks. Outside of that, though, Trey Turner, I absolutely love today. Javi Baez is still way too cheap on FanDuel. Andres Jimenez in a Cleveland stack, I think, is a pretty sneaky play today. I don't think a lot of people are going to play Cleveland, and I like them quite a bit. Xander Bogaerts always projects well. I just kind of feel like he never really does anything, and I don't mind Paul DeJong as a salary-saving option, unless he didn't make the lineup. Yes, he did.
Kirkwood?
Not out yet. So Paul DeJong is another one I like.
Yeah, we got all the lineups with the exception of the Marlins and the Cardinals. I believe we got everything else. Go ahead, Kirkwood.
Yeah, it's Brandon Crawford, Trey Turner, Xander Bogaerts, Corey Seager, Carlos Correa, Kevin Newman, O'Neill Cruz, maybe, and DeJong.
Facing a lefty or a righty?
He's facing a righty.
What happened with this Washington lineup? I see an updated Washington lineup. Did somebody get kicked out, or they just kind of shuffled some stuff around? I don't know, but it's not good. It's Thomas, Meneses, Voit, Cruz, Ruiz, Hernandez, Call, Abrams, that's a lefty, and Vargas. Buxton is playing tonight. He's leading off. Buxton, Correa, Arise, Miranda. I like that first four there from Minnesota. Urshela, Polanco, Celestino, Kepler, and Leon. So no Gary the Goat, no Gary Sanchez. Love is Blind's having its first divorce. This is what the things I learned while I'm on the Twitter as well. I thought those two kids were going to make it, whoever they were, I'm sure. Hey, let's jump to the outfield. TJ, knock it out.
Outfield jam-packed today like it always is. You got your, I'm basically just going to, almost ignore these San Fran guys because obviously they all project super well and you can play any of them. We got Peterson and Wade with some pinch hit risk, but they both have obscenely high projections today. Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and Shohei Ohtani are probably the next three guys that I would like and want to go to in terms of the price up range. But I also really like Mookie Betts and Julio Rodriguez today for tournaments. Jake Fraley and, of course, Tyler O'Neill, who was
Jake the Snake.
Well. Jake the Snake Fraley, going to be somewhat choppy.
His name is Jake. If his name was Todd, you wouldn't call him the Snake.
No, we'd call him Todd.
Todd. Yeah.
What if his name was Billy? We can keep doing this.
Big Willie.
Billy the silly, Big Willie, yeah. Billy the silly Willie.
Chester the
What if his name was Jeremiah?
Jeremiah's a heck of a guy that I'm going to play today. And Jake Fraley is a pretty solid option. He's cheap, and he's batting leadoff today.
Four
I want to give us
homers in his last 14 games. It's pretty good.
Jake the
Snake.
Homer guy. He's 23 likes away from our next Spidey bomb, or 33 likes away from our next Spidey bomb, and it's in the outfield, and I want to give it because it's a beautiful, sneaky play that I like.
There was a Jake the Snake Plummer back in the day, quarterback for the Cardinals, and of course Jake the Snake Roberts for wrestling. I believe was a
wait. What is
Jake
this?
Plummer was for the Broncos.
We got an urgent question in chat. I'm not sure I understand this. What's wrong? Sean says, "What's wrong with the app? I can't take the kitty tickler anymore."
Is that an option on the app?
That should be on the app to just remove the mustache.
I think that person may have clicked the Naked HD link and they're trying to figure out how to make that work.
That's the other possibility.
I don't know. We're not accountable for that. I got nothing else for you. We're going to have some time, by the way, to answer some questions in chat, whatever's on your mind in chat. Even if you want to ask about the app specifically, I don't have the answer for that, but feel free to ask it, fire away. We got the Crunch Time crew coming in about 7 minutes, give or take. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth tell you what's going to go on weather-wise tonight. We got Keith as well as Dave Potts, two-time millionaire winner. Gonna have to hear what he has to say as far as this slate. And again, they're about 6-7 minutes away. I want your outfielders, Kirkwood. Who do you like in the outfield?
Well, it's the San Francisco guys that are too cheap. I prefer Jock and then Yaz. But and then I'll say Jake the Snake again too, just for cheap if you need him. Juan Soto, obviously. I mean, he's been pretty disappointing so far. But
he walks a lot, which is never like what you
definitely
want.
Definitely going to erupt sometime. Tyler O'Neill, Ohtani, this guy Shohei Ohtani. I want nothing to do with Trout tonight. Aaron Judge.
Why do you say that?
Because he's just coming back. I think it's stupid that they're even like playing him at this point. What's the point?
But that means he's probably good to go, right?
Yeah, maybe, but they're also stupid, this organization. So, and he's probably not, he wasn't, he wasn't his old Mike Trout self this season anyway. So I'll take a wait and see approach, but I get it. You can get him low owned and against Detroit and a really suspect bullpen. Mookie is the guy I like a lot tonight. Brian Reynolds, impossible to stop lately. Verdugo, I like. He's going to homer soon. I think it might be tonight against Jordan Lyles. And you get, plus he's got the better side if he pulls it for left-handers now. Cedric Mullins, Acuna, Kyle Tucker, Alvarez. I mean, all the big names.
We got just jokes being dropped in chat. Brandon said he's coming back to sell tickets. I mean, first of all, it's on the road. Like, why would he come back in Detroit? The Angels don't care how many tickets that Detroit sells. And, like, you're either going to the game or you're not at this point for the Angels, I think. And you're going for Ohtani. I guess, maybe. I'm not sure. But is that the difference of going to the game or not going to the game for some people? Possibly, I suppose. We got some the names being thrown out in chat. Actually, let me get some homers from Kirkwood. I know Spidey has threw out some homers. You got a couple homers for me, Chris?
Nolan Arenado.
Yeah.
Number one. I'm going to say Jock Peterson.
We just got the Cardinals lineup, and it's exactly what we expected, by the way.
Good.
It's good. It's good.
Is Pujols in it?
I was expecting him, so is he?
Yeah, I was expecting it.
Yeah, he is. He's hitting fifth.
They're not afraid to pinch hit, by the way. We saw the other day with bases loaded, Pujols came in to pinch hit when a lefty came in because that was when Gomber had to relieve Senzatella, who got hurt for the Rockies, and they just he came off the bench in the third inning for a grand slam. But like Pujols has crushed lefties this year, but he's also a guy that might come out of the game for a righty. I just sort of throw that out there, I suppose. And I don't know how long this Henry character is going to last for Arizona, but he's an interesting, like, flat out punt basically on DK. And he hits his first homer. Who cares? Doesn't matter. That's a way to, I guess, stack St. Louis between, not playing Goldie and playing Pujols. It can get there, I suppose. Not necessarily ideal. Some questions we have here in the chat. TJ, pitcher pivots off of McClanahan. It says off of McClanahan. Is it /Snell or is it saying Snell and Nola? Just pitcher pivots off of McClanahan / Snell and Nola.
If that's would you rather Snell or Nola, I'd rather play Nola just because I just don't think there's a lot of point pivoting off of McClanahan to Snell because there's not really much of an ownership discount. So if I'm picking between that crew, it would be Nola. But McClanahan is my top option, and I think if you're trying to get sneaky, I'd go Tyler Anderson or Kevin Gausman.
Yeah, I was going to ask, give me somebody that's not in that group of three, just in case they're asking something else. I'm not completely sure of that.
Grant Stogg?
Yes. Docs, come here. Docs, come here. Here, Doxy.
Let me see this bad boy.
He's a
girl. What's a boy?
Yeah, we got a baby. It's a boy. I got a 1v1 as far as a one-off. You give it to me here, Kirkwood. This is single entry. Am I one-offing Soto or Yordan Alvarez?
I mean, those are like, it's honestly flip a coin. The better matchup is for sure is Soto. So I guess I would take Soto.
All right, I'm not going to ask Kirkwood because you already kind of made this be known, but I'm going to ask TJ. Cheyenne wants to know. I want one out of Trout or Bertani. You're picking one of those two. Who do you prefer?
Ohtani.
Is DeJong in the lineup? When the lineup Waters is asking, yes, DeJong's in there. Kirkwood, who's like the player you're most afraid of not having, like whatever reason, for salary or lineup construction? Who's the player or the team like you're afraid, like, oh man, I wish I had? And I know you have that one big lineup you usually play on Yahoo. I don't know if you're doing it again on DK, but like who you're afraid of not having, basically.
Well, Brandon Belt.
Yeah,
I'm not going to have him, and my night is going to. If he does anything, I'm going to be dead instantly.
Elvis Andrus is in the Chicago lineup. I didn't realize that Chicago picked him up. I missed that. I know Oakland just threw.
You know what? Did you see this on StreamYard? In the comments where we can see all the comments in our StreamYard now.
Oh, now I see what you're doing. You're having a good time. But producer Steve in there, he might have a problem because I think he's betting on little leagues.
I've got this play of the year tomorrow, Middleborough, Mass. It's a lock. No, it's not my hometown, but they're from Massachusetts. But it's a lock tomorrow. They're playing tomorrow.
Do you know
No, I was told. I had some inside info from a friend. Then it got to me, and it was like pound Middleborough tomorrow. But I've got some UFC. I've got some UFC plays. If people want that.
Well, yeah, slide into the DMs, man. Let me know.
But I bet them early in the week, so the lines.
We're
on Paulo Costa to send Luke into Rockhold into retirement by murder.
We got to ask Keith because Keith's the MMA guy. He's going to come on in a few minutes.
Extreme chalk, but the guy Mlb Aldo's losing tomorrow, so that's a decently close line if you want to bet.
Hello there.
Oh, I'm hearing what's going on in the background now. Oh, I hear a child. Roth.
Yeah. You know what? Sometimes they just have a mind of their own. I tried to not have this happen, but it happens.
They always do, actually.
Yeah, right. It'll end eventually. Don't worry. It'll be fine.
Is she from the picture we saw today on Twitter?
That's Charlie. She's a hooper. We were hooping today. It was daddy daycare all day. She's balling.
Look at you. Awesome.
Step back game. Yeah.
What does she think about the Texas weather?
It was raining all day, so that sucked. We had to stay inside all day.
Oh, sorry, I meant the Minnesota weather.
Oh, don't do that to me. You see, home teams only. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Charlie, is it gonna be good? Yeah, it's gonna be good.
That's the only seal of approval I need.
Yeah.
Keith, did you hear Kirkwood's lock for MMA? Did you happen to catch that? Can you confirm or deny?
I did. I heard it. Costa, and he said by KO, I believe, which I'm on board with that for sure. By murder, yes. The more technical term.
Are we're wagering American dollars on that?
What's the line up to? A lot of these lines have been steamed. Like there's a ton of huge favorites.
I got it at like 330 or something, but it's up to like 380 or 70 now. But I used it as a parlay piece. But I'm big against Aldo on Mlb tomorrow too. We'll see what happens.
Hey Dave, how ridiculous is DraftKings tonight?
I just I don't even know. It's just crazy that they, all year, like at some point somebody you would have thought just would have knocked on the door of the office and been like, hey, let's just put a floor on these guys. Like it's one button to push, just make everyone over 3,500 Ecors, and then you're done. You don't have to worry about it.
Do you have an official stance what you're doing?
I think they're doing research.
Yeah.
Yeah, just playing the good pitchers and playing the Giants, and there you go. And let everybody else play catch up, I suppose. Yeah, and I'm sure you'll talk about how you're going to be different in a second. We'll let Roth take over. TJ, you got anything else for the boys? Kirk, what do you think for the boys? Are we stepping aside?
I have one last question. Is Cheese, are you been into Rainmakers at all?
I so much don't understand. I guess I'm like, I got a pack and a card. Like I have a couple of things. I have no idea what they are or what to do with them. And I accidentally clicked on the button and saw this lobby. Like, I don't even understand what I like.
It's
I don't know.
Confusing.
I'm gonna have to
it's really hard to like try to learn this so we can play more DFS. It's like,
yeah, I don't even understand if I have the ability to play something with what I have right now, and if so, what it would be.
Right. Am I wrong in that the idea here is that you're playing DFS with these cards, but you have to go buy the cards of the good players, which are more expensive? So
Well, there's a marketplace that they get minted. There's some are like the highest ones are like auctioned off. So, but don't worry about those. But they do packs. So you like buy packs and get the cards. But then there's the marketplace, and so you supplement, or you can go in like if you're higher on a player that you think is going to be worth a lot more, you can buy up like all of his market and then sell them. I've been flipping cards on there, but I mean, it just seems like a lot of work, a lot of time.
Yeah. If I'm going up against like Dean, who's very rich, and he's buying up all of the good players, and then I just have my packs, I'm going to get crushed because he's got Jonathan Taylor and he's got, whichever quarterback or Patrick Mahomes.
I get the point, but I was thinking like Cheese and Chop would be the guys to like who could just dominate this, throw their millions around in this.
I can assure you that is not going to happen on my end. I think we should talk to Chop about it and let him.
Chop's already started. He's in there.
I need to stay on for 5 more likes so I can give my super sneaky Spidey bomb.
If you don't hit the like button, it's because you didn't think my daughter was cute, and that is rude. So you have to hit the like button, otherwise you're an ass.
That's true.
Let's see if that works. I don't know. I've never threatened people into the likes or tried to guilt them.
I have a couple times. Like we just got a 10. We just got a 10 bump when you said that, so that's good. But like we got 500 people watching right now, so they better just click the damn button. The super sneaky Spidey bomb today to go with Tyler O'Neill and Evan Longoria is Trace Thompson for the Dodgers.
That is pretty sneaky. In chat they mentioned also Kirkwood. Good luck. Hopefully, your I was going to say your wife, but it's not your wife. It's your girlfriend, I think.
It is. We're fiance. We're married, but we haven't gotten the legal document yet.
Okay, I didn't know what word to use, but hope all goes well on Monday.
Yeah.
And congratulations in advance. Myself, TJ, Kirkwood, we're going to step aside and get out of here and make way for Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. You got Keith, you got Dave Potts as well. The Fanduel sponsored Crunch Time. It starts now. Go for it, Roth.
It does indeed. Thank you, gentlemen. As always, great to have you as the lead-in, as the bridge here, as we get down to the goods, the meat and potatoes. This is Crunch Time. It's the moment you've been waiting for. And yes, it is indeed sponsored by the one and only Fanduel. Fanduel single entry series back better than ever. 50K in bonus cash up for grabs. Top finisher in each series gets an all expenses paid trip to the single entry series championship in Chicago on September 9th. A shot at the $10,000 grand prize. And then on top of that, Andy Means is going to spend a weekend with you, flying you to any destination in the world in his private jet. You get to hang out with him after that event. He lives in Chicago. So make sure that you are getting in that, maxing that out. Joined by a couple of the sharpest minds in the biz. One, Mr. Dave Potts, a.k.a. Cheeseisgood. What up, Cheese?
Good day to you, sir. We're just going to start off the show right away with a thank you to the sponsor site FanDuel for actually caring a little bit about DFS pricing. The pricing has been better on FanDuel all season. It's more pronounced on slates like this. Their pitching pricing has been sharper all year by a lot. And then on these core slates, the hitter pricing is sharper. So kudos to FanDuel for giving us a game to play.
Right. It's not fun when everybody's cheap or there's too many obvious plays. That's not good, right? It seems like it'd be good, but it's not.
It's not. It's when something is clearly wrong, then it's not good, whether you like it or not.
Right. When something is clearly too good, it's bad.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, we also have the Iceman. Did I compliment you on your recent promotion on air yet? I don't recall, but congratulations.
I don't think so, but thank you very much. Very excited to be on board full time. So that's exciting for sure.
It is wonderful. Well, we are just delighted to have you, and it is well earned and well deserved. But
nobody told me that. They're supposed to check with me before that goes through.
Yeah. He had X'd you out in the player pool, the promotion player pool. You got the X near your name. 500 people are watching, by the way. Hit the like button because this is the actual guilt trip. It's not about my baby being cute. If we don't get enough likes and enough views, then FanDuel will not sponsor the show, and then the content will not be free, and you'll have to pay for it. So it does behoove everyone to hit that like button. So make sure you're, liking as you're watching for this free content. Anyways, Ice, with my tangents aside, how you doing, man?
Doing well. I noticed that Meansy keeps adding to this package that's being offered in Chicago. So that's pretty cool stuff there.
Yeah. It started out, he was just going to get some deep dish pizza with you. And now it's taking a private jet to wherever you want in the whole country. It's really, he's a good guy. He's good people. Hey, how you feeling about this slate, Ice?
So I'm just gonna hold my nose and fade this ridiculous Giants chalk. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but it's an option, and I don't love the popular pitching, and I don't love the Giants. So I'm going to be very different, and I'm not generally a super contrarian tournament player. I'm totally fine eating chalk a lot of the time, but it is so chalky on such a massive slate that I'm just doing some completely off the wall things tonight.
I love it. I feel like that's exciting, and there's potential for a big night for you. So that's fun. Excited to hear what your plan is there, but I do want to start with a little cheese talk, cheese overview of slate, or just dive into pitchers, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, let's dive into pitchers, and we'll kind of start talking about the obviousness of this slate as we get into the hitting.
Okay. All right. Well, tell me what you like.
Yeah. So I think the big conversation on the pitching side is with Shane McClanahan. I've been driving the Shane McClanahan bus all year. Like, I was calling him the best pitcher in the league before projection systems caught up to him. Now projection systems are caught up and he's ranked high, and now I'm off because I'm not sure that he's okay. His velocity's down, his strikeouts are down, everything is down, everything is off, and he's expensive. It's quite possible that this is just a normal ebb and flow of a season, and he jumps right back to it, and he's great. But on this slate, personally, I don't need him.
How long has he been off?
About a month, about 4 or 5 starts.
Okay.
It's nothing super concerning. I mean, the velocity is like, 1 mile an hour down, just kind of like a normal ebb and flow could be, but it's also very well could be that he's tiring. I don't know, but I know that he is not the same guy he was the first half of the season. And there are other really good pitchers cheaper. So personally, I'm fading McClanahan. I'm not telling you that's what you have to do, but that is what I'm doing. For me, Blake Snell is SP1. It always feels wonky to trust Blake Snell, but he has been the good Blake Snell for a long time. He's kind of like the opposite of McClanahan. Like, everything's working right now. Strikeouts are up, walks are down. The matchup is fantastic. Snell is my guy. I do like Aaron Nola as a high-end pivot. And then, sadly, I think Brady Singer is going to be pretty popular. But to me, he's the next best play after Snell. He's my cheap guy on Fanduel that I'm using, and my go-to SP2 on Draftkings. I also on the DK side, I like Gausman right there with Singer. And then on Fanduel, for me, I'm not going any lower than Singer. You're allowed to, of course, but with him at 86, I think it's being silly to go lower than him. Like, I'd rather just kind of spread it around and play a little Sandoval, Gausman, Michaelis, or go up. On DraftKings, it's interesting because when I first opened this slate, I thought that Patrick Sandoval was going to be chalk because he's 7,200 and he's facing Detroit. It now seems like he's not chalk at all. And in fact, just kind of off the radar. So I'm kind of back on Sandoval as a cheap guy on DK. I'm mixing up him and Miles Mikolas where I need to go cheaper. I think you're okay to play Tyler Anderson in that mix too if you want. But I'm pretty narrowed down. Snell, Singer, Nola, Gausman, and then on DK some Sandoval and Mikolas.
Okay, excellent. Ice, I want to hear where you're getting contrarian. Is it a pitcher or is it more so with the bats or both?
More so with the bats, but also at pitching. I pretty much am completely aligned with Cheese on this one. McClanahan and his last 3 starts in particular, his strikeout rate for the season is over 32%. His last 3 starts, his strikeout rate has been under 15%.
Oh,
He's a young pitcher. It's getting late in the season. He could just be dealing with a little bit of dead arm. But the reason that he's priced up so much is because of that season-long strikeout rate, and we just haven't seen those type of strikeouts here recently. I don't think that he's worth the ownership that he's garnering today.
Yeah.
I'm fading him completely.
wow. And he is coming in, it looks like, on FanDuel as the highest owned projected pitcher.
Yes, that is what we have projection. I think a lot of people see his recent starts. I don't think he's going to be as popular as Snell. Just because of his recent performance here, but it is a great matchup against Kansas City. A lot of people are still talking him up, so he will be popular. I'm not sure that he gets more popular than Snell, but I'm just going to hope that he doesn't quite recapture what he had when, as Cheese said, was one of the best pitchers in baseball for many months this season. But hopefully it just doesn't come back for another start, and I can get an edge on the field that way. I do like Snell a good amount, but I don't love him. I'm not even trying to get overweight on him necessarily. Probably just trying to match the field with Snell. And that's because I do love some of these other pitchers that Cheese mentioned. Brady Singer in particular. He has been on a run here for a month or two where he's turning into a pretty elite pitcher. Strikeout rate is over 25% on the season. Walks are around 6%. And he's got a matchup in Tampa Bay, one of the best pitchers parks in baseball, against a team that strikes out a ton. He faced Tampa Bay a month ago and had 12 strikeouts against them. I can't believe he's going to be like, he's gotten more popular as the day has gone along, but he's still not anywhere near as popular as I think he should be. I'm trying to be at least double the field on Singer. I like Gausman, another guy who was one of the best pitchers in baseball for a couple of months this season, has fallen off here recently. Really tough matchup against New York. In New York, which is not ideal, but he is still very talented and has great strikeout stuff at times. I think he can put up a big game today. I like Nola. Don't love his matchup against the Mets, so I'll be overweight on him, but not as much as I will be on Singer and Gausman. And then 2 other guys I love today: McKenzie against the White Sox. There's some strikeout ability for McKenzie there, 24% on the season. And he's just been going really deep into games. So I like his chances for a quality start and a win on FanDuel. There's some strikeout ability there. I think there's plenty of upside for McKenzie, even against a White Sox team that doesn't strike out a ton. The White Sox have just struggled as an offense this season. So I think he goes deep into this game. I like his chances for a win. And then Sandoval is the other one on DK, especially where he is really cheap. Detroit is a terrible offense. Yes, they're worse against right-handed pitching, but even against lefties, they're still bottom 5 in baseball. So I want some Patrick Sandoval as well.
Okay, excellent. I did kind of skip over the weather updates here, and we had mentioned kind of right off the top about the potential for rain 2 spots. One in Atlanta. I don't think we want pitchers there based on what I heard. Is that true, Cheese?
Correct.
Great. I think there's a chance for a delay. I don't see any reason that you should fade bats. And then the other game that I'm watching is Minnesota, where there's this low pressure, like literally right on top of Minnesota, spinning this rain around. But it's essentially whatever it looks like at the start of the game is what it's going to look like at the end of the game. And right now they're in this dry slot, and I think they're going to stay there for the next, 3-4 hours. So I think it looks good. I'll let you know if anything changes, but I think it looks pretty good in Minnesota. So I would not fade it. And Cheese, that is a spot for bats in Minnesota, not so much pitchers as well.
Correct.
Okay. So then I have low levels of concern for bats in both games, and in neither of them is the concern high enough that I think you should do anything about it. So stick to your guns. Okay, let's talk about some of the stacks. And I guess I want Ice to just, bring the heat. Tell me what the chalk is first, and then tell me what you plan on doing.
So the absolutely insane chalk is going to be the San Francisco Giants in Coors Field. Their entire lineup is under 3K on Draftkings. The great majority of it. They're just far too cheap on DraftKings for Coors Field. No doubt about it. They're the top stack on the slate. But we are not talking about an elite offense here. We're talking about the Giants. They also do this weird thing where they pinch hit a ton. There is a little bit less risk on that today because the Rockies probably only have one lefty available in the bullpen. But still, even if the top of the order is coming up in the 6th inning and the top of the order is up with Wade and Peterson, that lefty's coming in, and more than likely Wade and Peterson are coming out of the game. So still plenty of pinch hit risk for the Giants. There's a weird narrative about teams going into Coors Field for the first day. I don't generally buy into that, but we're talking about a team that is going to be 20% plus owned on a massive 14-game slate. Yes, they're way too cheap. Yes, they have the highest team total on the board, but I'm not comfortable with a 20% owned team on a 14-game slate. There are so many other options on this slate. Maybe the Giants, and the thing about them being so cheap is they don't need to put up 12 runs to beat me. So it is a very scary fade. Like, they could have a couple of $2,500 hitters that go for 2 doubles and an RBI, and they're still very useful pieces in a tournament winning lineup. So I get why they're chalk. I don't like playing 20% hitters on this big of a slate. So I'm completely fading the Giants. I'm not playing a single hitter from the Giants in any lineup I make.
Okay. Is it, to me, 20% doesn't seem that bad. 20%. Is it that if it was a smaller slate, I don't know. 20% just doesn't seem like a huge issue to me.
So 20% on a slate this big is massive. If it was a 6-game slate and they were 20% owned, that would not be a big deal to me.
Okay.
But yeah, on a 14-game slate, 20% ownership is a ton.
Okay. Well, then what are you doing instead is the immediate question.
So I love the other side of Coors. Alex Wood is a sinker ball pitcher. Colorado's not a great offense, but we love the ballpark here. They have been much better against lefties this season, so I definitely like Colorado. St. Louis is probably my absolute favorite pivot. That's not going to be sneaky. Like, the thing with paying for cheap Giants is it allows you to spend up at several positions. So like Goldschmidt and Arenado are going to be owned. But I still love St. Louis. They've been the best team in baseball against lefties. This is a fantastic spot for them against a really low strikeout lefty who's had some walk issues in his first couple of starts in the majors here as well. I'll be way overweight on St. Louis. The Padres burned everybody last night. They had the highest run total on the board by more than a run yesterday and put up like 2 runs. Love the spot again for them today. No Josh Bell in the lineup, kind of downgraded them a little bit for me, but still absolutely love them. A very talented lineup there. The Dodgers are another team that I like. Just one of the most talented offenses in baseball. Luzardo is a guy who has struggled at times with his control. His hard hit rate is elevated. I really like the Dodgers in this spot. Boston is another team that I will be heavy on. Going against Jordan Lyles, who has plenty of hard contact issues as well. And the Angels, getting Mike Trout back is a huge boost to this lineup. David Fletcher hasn't been in the lineup most of the season, and they're getting this terrible Detroit team. So really like this spot for the Angels. Pretty much any of those teams, I think Colorado and St. Louis will grab some ownership, maybe San Diego, but anything other than that is completely off the board on the slate because the Giants are grabbing so much ownership. Those will be the teams I'm heavy on. I also like Minnesota, and I don't mind a little bit of Seattle and some Cleveland as well. But just fading Arizona, I think I can pretty much do, especially since I'm going underweight on McClanahan as well. Like, my lineups are going to be very different. Just hoping that San Francisco doesn't put up more than 6 runs or so, and I'll be in pretty good shape.
Okay, Cheese, I'm intrigued here as to your thoughts on what his strategy is and, of course, what yours are as well.
I'm certainly not fading the Giants, but I'm certainly not playing them everywhere. But I'm over the field on the Giants. I'm with you, like Kevin. Your thought of, yeah, it's 20%, but even what does that mean? Like, it's a few players that are super chalky, and some that aren't, and they're cheap. My favorite pivots are the ones Keith mentioned right off the top. They're the 3 late games: Cardinals, Padres, Dodgers. I think those are all great spend ups. And honestly, other than that, I'm just kind of throwing a few darts in large field tournaments. But I'm going the opposite way. I'm just saying something is very obviously the best. It's very obviously too cheap, and so I'll have more combinations of it. And play the Giants.
So that's kind of how I felt, Cheese, is that if this was a 5-game slate and something was very obvious and very much the best, and it was 70% owned, to be like, okay, well, I don't want that. But if it's very obvious and very the best and only 20% owned, I feel like to me that's a win. But I certainly see.
I do too.
Yeah, but I see Ice's take as well, and I think he's going to win $100,000 tonight. So I like your chances, man. Okay, someone said, any opinion on the heavy wind blowing in at Colorado? And it is right now blowing in, but the winds are going to shift in Colorado, and in an hour or so, it's going to be blowing across the ballpark, and in a couple hours, it's going to be blowing out. So the winds are shifting in Colorado. So yes, the wind is blowing in now. I don't expect that to be the case.
I was going to say that and kind of ask you. So Weather Edge is showing a bump to bats with wind blowing out. So that's taking it later in the game.
I think that should be taking it for first pitch, while we're on the screen share, let me just go to that Weather Edge, because to me, if people are scared off by the weather, I might even say you're looking at it backwards. Scroll down the Weather Edge. There's Coors Field, 51 game sample, 10% boost to homers, 8% boost to runs. So to me, it's good weather, if nothing else. So right now that's based on first pitch being a southerly wind. So let me dial in the exact timing of that wind shift, because this is the first time I'm even noticing the wind shift here. So let me dial that in a second here, and I will let you know when exactly I think that wind will shift. It should be out of the south. The wind, I think the forecast is correct, where the wind should be shifting to be a help during the game. Bats, that is, but not a huge amount, but a somewhat helpful wind during the game. Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about what we're doing here position by position. And Cheese, you can lead us off with a little catcher talk.
All right. For catcher, we're, just mostly looking at DK. And there's really, Will Smith is kind of in his own tier for me. I do like Adley Rutschman. The very obvious play, that's the very obvious chalk, is Joey Bart. Although I'm not sure which 5 Giants can be chalk. That's another part of what we were talking about. Like, I don't think Joey Bart will be 20% owned. So I don't even know what. I don't have a problem with playing Joey Bart, basically. But if I have money, I want as much Will Smith as possible.
Okay. Ice, what's your game plan?
Yeah, I love Will Smith as well. He will be my highest owned at the position. I like Servin in Coors Field. Alfaro is batting 9th for the Padres, but talented hitter with a great matchup. I like to punt as well with Suzuki and Yadier Molina.
Okay. Take me to first.
All right. Brandon Belt is one of the chalkiest players on the slate. He is far too cheap for the talent level here in Coors Field. Just a silly price on Brandon Belt. Hasn't had a great year. But if there's one Giant I'm afraid of tonight, it's Brandon Belt. Ohtani is a great option. Goldschmidt is one of my highest owned hitters on this slate. Love this matchup for him against the lefty. CJ Cron for the Rockies in Coors Field against the lefty. Absolutely love him. Even playing a little Freddie Freeman lefty matchup. He's going to have almost 0 ownership today. I have a little bit of Rizzo even against Gaussman. Cheap guys I like Montero for the Rockies as well, and Ryan Mountcastle.
Cheese first.
Yeah, the FanDuel side is even more interesting, where Paul Goldschmidt at 4,800, even though he's really obvious, I don't think he'll get played on FanDuel because that's like a very extreme FanDuel salary. So I'm going to give him a boost there because he is overpriced, like it's almost a good thing. The other cheap guy I like, along with Belt, is Nate Lowe. That's everything.
I got pizza arriving, dogs barking, babies screaming, the usual. Take me to second base, Cheese.
All right. As usual, this is kind of the weak spot, which will make Wilmer Flores one of the more popular Giants, even though he's not one of everyone's favorite Giants. I like Brendan Rodgers in the Coors Field game. Cronenworth is probably my favorite one-off outside of Coors. On FanDuel, we still have the weird Marcus Semien price, where he's kind of the popular-ish guy. I would play Semien ahead of Jonathan India personally, although they're both fine as a cheap FanDuel thing. I'm good with Flores chalk in stacks, but as far as like a one-off guy, I would play Rodgers or Cronenworth ahead of him.
Okay, great. Ice, second base.
Yeah, love Brendan Rodgers and Coors. We'll have some Marcus Semien as well, even on DraftKings where he's more expensive. Good matchup for him leading off against Bundy. Luis Rengifo is a cheap option for the Angels, batting third. Love Cronenworth as well. Tommy Edman against the lefty. And Jorge Polanco for the Twins I do like as well.
Take me to third base.
All right. Third base is a loaded position as usual. Definitely a spot I want to spend some money on. I love Rafael Devers today. I love Manny Machado today. I love Nolan Arenado. Those will be my top three at the position. Jose Ramirez I have a little bit of as well. The Giants are the cheap options that a ton of people are going to play, leaving these high-end options at third under-owned. But Flores and Longoria are the two Giants here that a lot of people are going to play. I have a little bit of Justin Turner, and I have a bit of Brandon Drury, even with his goofy high price.
Okay, Cheese.
I love the four expensive guys up top with Machado, Ramirez, Devers, and Arenado. The majority of my lineups have one of those guys, regardless of stack or not. I do want to get a little bit of Longoria in giant stacks, but kind of like Keith said, this is a position I'm prioritizing spending up with one of those four.
Okay, take me to shortstop.
The DK side, it gets really skewed with this Brandon Crawford salary, like just flat out minimum salary. It's silly. Like Trey Turner is way better at baseball than Brandon Crawford, but it's more than 3 times the salary. Like it's just bizarre. On FanDuel, it's 2,900 is a fine price, but it doesn't really make him some amazing play. So I prefer Correa or Seager as just kind of a little bit more than Crawford or getting up to Trey Turner. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, Ice.
Yeah, Trey Turner is one of my favorite plays on the slate. Love him against the lefty. Corey Seager against Bundy. Bogarts against Lyles. Jose Iglesias leading off in Coors. Definitely like him. And Carlos Correa as well.
Okay. Outfield, Ice.
All right. So the Giants are leading the charge again. You've got Peterson and Wade, both at the top of the order, both very cheap. Peterson is the one Giant has a little higher price than some of the rest, but he's still going to be very popular, along with Yastrzemski as well, who's up to the 5th hole today.
Roth, who's Yastrzemski? I've never heard of that guy.
Oh yeah,
I believe the proper pronunciation is Yastrzemski.
There it is.
Just to be clear, yes. Okay, sorry. Continue.
So some of the pivots I'm looking at, I mentioned the Angels. Lots of Ohtani and Trout for me. Trout first game back, a little bit concerning, but I love this matchup against Manning, who just has not shown a ton of strikeout ability in the majors so far. Love Juan Soto today. Fantastic matchup for him against Espino. The Cardinals, I love all of the Cardinals outfield, Tyler O'Neill and Dylan Carlin especially. I did forget to mention Paul DeYoung at short as well. Love him for the Cardinals. let's see here. Couple of cheap guys. I love Fraley for the Reds. Great pivot off of those Giants guys. I like Nick Senzel as well. That's really it. I mean, and that's part of why the Giants are going to be so popular is because the pivots are not ideal. So kind of how I'm handling that is I'm spending down for pitching with guys like Singer and Sandoval and not going up to the expensive guys like McClanahan. So I don't have to go down into that cheap range near as much. But the Reds are useful for when I'm trying to make a similar build to that.
Okay. Cheese.
So I think the first thing I'll say is in engaging pinch hit risk for the Giants, Yaz is the lowest pinch hit risk out of those three outfielders. So I do have him ahead of Jock and Wade. Like Jock and Wade are, along with Stella, are kind of the three guys who you'd be most concerned about. You never know. I mean, the Giants might just pull everybody and put in a bunch of dudes from the stands when a lefty comes in. But I do have more Yaz because of that reason. Similar to third base, ideally, this is the other place I want to spend up. It's just super loaded up top. My favorite is Ohtani. Next would be Soto. Next would be Alvarez, and then Buxton. But then also Trout and Betts and Judge. Like that's such an incredibly loaded high end of the outfield. I want to get one or two of those guys, and it's pretty easy to do, which is goofy. But that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Let's take some QQs, and I'm going to jump on over to the RG Discord. We've got 5 or 6 minutes here until lock. So, Nikes said, this is a great question. I love it. If Ice or Cheese were playing cash, and I don't think either of you do as a general thing, right?
Correct.
Not for baseball.
Yeah. Would you fade McClanahan? So I know this is like a theoretical situation.
I mean, I can tell you, there's not a chance in the world I would have McClanahan in my cash lineup personally.
Woo! Love it. Ice?
Yeah, I like Singer so much today. I feel more comfortable with him as a safer option just because of McClanahan's price. I think I'd save the money. And I didn't build a cash lineup.
Snell Singer with no question, personally.
Yeah, Snell is the lock for sure. And then I think saving the money down to Singer is perfectly viable.
Okay, excellent. Let's go to Jay. He says, DK single entry, Ice, better one-off, like Haniger or Ward?
Ward for me tonight.
Great. Okay. Cheese, you playing Judge? I feel like you just mentioned him in the outfield, right?
Yeah, barely. I mean, he is my lowest owned of those high-end outfielders. Like, he's always in the pool, but he's like 6th on that list of 6 great spend-ups.
Okay. Ice, large field, FanDuel GPP, Espino or Bryce Wilson?
I don't think you need to do that today.
Yeah. Even in a large field GPP.
I mean, I guess if Bryce Wilson, I suppose, but that's going way, way off the board.
Okay. All right. Let's see. And aside, Cheese, you kind of talked about this, and maybe you answered this directly. I don't know. Who's more likely to get the hook first, the pinch hit hook, Wade or Jock Jams?
I mean, they're equal. It's whichever guy is up. And really, because they're back-to-back, probably just if it's one, it's both is really the answer.
Okay, good answer. Okay, Cheese, coming right back at you with this FanDuel cash question. It is 3v3. Devers, Jock, Fraley, or Longo, Soto, Profar? Cheese?
That's cash, you said?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, Longo, Soto, Profar.
Yeah. All right, FanDuel Cash 2v2. Ice, coming to you. Wade and Arenado or Yazimadowski and Grichuk?
I prefer the Wade Arenado side.
Okay. Cheese Chinatown says, I know you don't play cash, but if you did, would you play Snell Singer? Yeah, you addressed that.
Yeah,
you would indeed.
That's my duo.
Yeah. Any concerns with Washington's low strikeout lineup in cash?
No. It's more than balanced out by the ridiculously non-power And Snell strikes out anybody. Like, he doesn't care what a guy's strikeout rate is.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right. This is a great question from Fick. He says, can we assume Trout, is this his first game back, Trout?
It is. Yep.
Okay, can we assume Trout will play like Trout? Ice, are you assuming he can play like Trout?
I mean, the Angels are not playing for anything. I don't think they would risk his health if he wasn't a full go.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Okay. Let's see. Devers in Baltimore. Any concerns versus Lyles? Ice, I'm giving that to you. I don't fully understand it.
No concerns. He's one of my favorite hitters on the slate.
Yeah, very nice. Okay. DKGPP from DY. Cheese, in a Toronto stack, would you play Jansen over Kirk to be different, or don't even consider it?
I mean, you can consider it just because Jansen's good, but you don't need to do it to be different because Toronto's so far off the board to begin with.
Excellent. All right. We've got less than 2 minutes here until lock. J Sam says, any interest? By the way, if you're watching on the YouTube, hit that like button. It's free content. If you don't hit the like button, it might not be that way forever. Any interest in large field FanDuel tournaments for Willie Myers as a last piece one-off? Cheese, any Willie Myers interest?
I don't love him as a one-off. It's fine-ish because he's cheap. I certainly like him in stacks at the salary.
Okay. Amateur Hour, DKGPP, best outfielder, Ice, 5K or less in a DKGPP.
Let's see here. 5K outfield. Give me. I'll go Tyler O'Neill, Cardinals.
Okay. Izzy B says, can we play the big dumper as a one-off? Or do I play Bart to complete a San Francisco mini DK Lotto GPP? I don't know what the heck that part means. But Cheese, can I play big dumper as a one-off or Bart to complete a San Francisco mini something?
I mean, if you have other Giants, I mean, just play Bart. To me, that game, that Mariners-A's game, is the most, like, doesn't exist game on the slate. It's fine to play a one-off there, but it's really far down my list.
Okay. Ice Naked HD asks, is the Tigers' Kerry Carpenter sneaky?
Yeah, he's sneaky for sure.
Sneaky in a good way or sneaky in a not good way?
I think it's a good way. He's a pretty good prospect. He hit a bunch of homers in the minors, so there's some power there. I like it.
Great. All right. Let's see. Michael Smith says, if you want to fade Wade, who would you go with, Fraley or Gamble in a DKGPP? Ice, if you're fading Wade, you want Fraley or Gamble DKGPP?
I like Fraley a ton tonight.
Excellent. Very good, gentlemen. With that, we have hit the lock. I'll ask this question as the final question before lock, and then I'm going to go eat some pizza. But Cheese, Jay says, is that reference of 20% San Francisco owned in DK single entry too high for this type of contest?
So they're not going to be 20% owned in single entry. The 20% is for a large field, like the biggest on the slate. They're going to be far, far higher than that in single entry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically, like the higher the dollar level and the smaller the field, the higher the chalk goes. So in a single entry, they'll be more owned than they will in the larger multi-entry.
Okay.
Like Brandon Belt is going to be 50% owned in single entry probably.
Gotcha. All right. Final question, Cheese. Someone says, what goes down on that infamous notepad that you have? Cheese, are you a doodler? Like, I keep a notepad as well, but I doodle.
No, it's pretty much just straight lists of players' names.
Business only.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're not goofing around here. We're writing people's names down in all capital letters.
No messing around. I like it, and I approve, and so do the people. With that, we are going to get on out of here. So for Cheese and Ice and our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.